All right, so we're back. Now we're going to be working on replacing that vent up there with a fan, an electric fan. So the fan just arrived. Have not opened it yet. And it's here. This is the Maxxair Dome. Should be white. Yep, I got the white one. Hey, you can get them at LED. That's cool. I did not do that. That'd be kind of a cool feature though for up there in the Poptop. So open this up. Now check this out online, and it looks like the cutout for it's going to be 6.5 inches. The current cutout is 4 inches. That's big. Okay, that's that. So let's see how this works. There's still screws in the box, but got this piece, that piece, that. So that's going to be the inside. This is probably going to go through the roof. So you'll have this in here with this here, and you'll cut this to length here like that. And then I'm going to guess this goes on the outside like that. So it will add a little bit of height to the van, but that's totally fine with me. And then when you got a little button here, you push that. And that slides up like that. And there's your fan inside there. So you push the button, that slides up, and that turns it on. And then that will be around the outside. So on the roof, it's going to look like that. So then this is going to go on the inside. All right. Take a look at some instructions here. Alright, what do we have to do? Installation. Minimum of 6¼ inch diameter opening. What is a maximum? Apply some butyl tape or equivalent to the underside flange and the groove provided. Okay. When inserting into roof opening, orient the fan with the button towards the front of the coach. So if the roof thickness is 1 inch, you don't need to use the sleeve. If it's between 1 and 6 inches, the extension sleeve may need to be trimmed. So it's likely we're not going to need the sleeve. That's good. You can also install these on the wall, which we're not going to do. All right, very cool. So that should be pretty easy then. All right, so I just measured the hole up there, and the depth of the pop top. It is about 1.25 inches, and this is the trim plate that's going to go on. It's actually about the same size as the trim plate that's up there, so it's going to actually fit really nicely. Yeah. All right, so what I've done, this just comes out with 3 screws. What I have done over here, because the hole that's up there is a 4-inch hole, I've got a hole saw, got a 6.5 inch, and then I've got the middle's a 4-inch. So I use the 4-inch as my guide. It sits lower, so my 6-inch will be centered around the 4-inch hole. That's how I'm going to cut my hole. And it's about 1.25 inches deep. I might have to go in from both ends just to get it cut. We'll see. And then I'll have to cut about a 1/4 inch off of this, I guess, to get this to fit properly. So we'll start on this soon. Okay, I'm up top here. I just took off this cover. It's held on my 3 screws. And that's why you get whistling noise. This isn't really sealed at all. It's pretty bad. And now what I have to do is I have to pull this stuff off. And there's screws underneath here. Take that screw off, take off these screws, and then pry this thing off. So I'll be back. Okay, so all I did was trim kind of this area here to get it from the inside. So now that fits right inside there, and I can cut that without having to remove any of the sealant, and then I'll just clean up on the outside edge here when I'm done. And I'm not going to do that right now because I need to go somewhere. So when I get home, I will continue. Alright, so this just lifted off after I got the screws out. This is what's actually on here. So this is what I got to pry off, is this piece here. So that shouldn't be too bad. Alright, so this is the old vent everybody's familiar with. This is my new one that I'm putting on. And that's in the closed position right here. You can see the difference in size. It's not that much. Neither is the width, diameter. Actually very similar in size. So I'm not really adding much height, which is nice. However, you can see this rubber seal here. When this is closed, that's actually sealed really well. Whereas on the current vent, this is the closed position. When I open it, it does like that. There's no rubber seal anywhere in there. Everybody wonders why this thing whistles, because it doesn't really seal at all. There's no seal in there. Alright, we're back. First thing I'm going to try to do is use my knife. I marked with the drill up here. I marked exactly where where I need to cut so the drill doesn't catch the fabric here and snag it. So I'm going to cut with a knife around through here and try to pull that fabric off, or at least get it to where it's not going to snag when I run the drill on it. So I'm going to get started on that. So I got that off, and I remeasure the thickness of the roof. It's 1 inch, so we're not going to need any spacers, which is awesome. And I'm going to see if I can get this Tupperware up in here underneath there, so when I drill from the top, 2 things: it catches all my dust, but secondly, I don't hit my Poptop canvas. So we're going to try to squeeze that up there. All right, so that fit. So now I'm going to go up there and drill a hole. Got to get my drill, and that should collect all my dust, and also the piece when it falls, if it falls, unless it gets stuck in the drill. And additionally, will protect my canvas here. So let me go get my drill. All right, so I got this set on my drill. I took the drill bit out, and this piece here is actually from a Makita drill because the threads on the ones that came with these red hole cutters were not long enough to put 2 on here. So I used one from a Makita hole saw. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cut this hole like this. Is my battery dead? And that is why I put the box up there. Still in there. I'm gonna go grab something to clean that off with. Might as well just push it into the Tupperware. And I'll clean that really well with some alcohol in a minute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the fan, because I want to see how much of this black I need to trim back, because I don't want it on top of that. Okay, so the button goes forward, so the wires are in the back, just like that. I'm just going to fit just like that. So I'm going to cut right there. Right off. Perfect. Now, I'm going to go get alcohol, clean that up, and then we'll caulk and place that in place. And we'll screw it down. I'll bring you with me. All right. So this says, but I know the button goes forward. Where is it? Center of the fan, use 8 screws provided attached to flange roof. All right, so just right around there. Okay, so I've got 8 screws here, 6 screws here. These are all the same. These for this, these are for the guard there, and then the 4 white screws are for the interior trim piece. And this is for the electrical here. So I had the vent open to make it easier to get to the screws. And now I'm going to put my sealant right around this edge here. And then we're going to go put it in place. I'm going to put these wires in like that. I'm going to put my sealant here. We're going to go put it in place, and then we're going to screw it down with the 8 screws. Right, there's my bead of sealant. Now let's go drop this in place and screw it down. Alright, so set in place. The bead was coming out really nice around the edges here. I'm going to go ahead now. And, oh, I did clean this with denatured alcohol before I started. Go ahead and start drilling these screws in place. This one's going to be difficult because I can't really see it. I'll do this one first. Alright, I gotta figure out how to get this one back there because tighten them all a little bit. All right, so that's down. Now I need to seal up each one of these screw holes with some lap sealant. Let me go get that. Before I do that, I decided to go ahead and come in here and take the Tupperware off, take a look at it. That looks good. There's my wires over here. It's in there all nice, even. It looks good. So we're going to go ahead now and put the, I'm going to let that set for a bit. I'm going to do the inside. I'm going to put this trim piece on and wires. Need to open the pop top. And that way I can let the sealant dry a little bit on the roof right now. And so what I'm doing is I'm hooking up wires to here to a 12-volt adapter so we can plug it in right there when we want to use it. I got it temporarily wired up. Very odd. The white is negative on this. So, and I have this pushed up, plugged in. There's your fan. Very nice. That's your fuse right there. So we're going to go ahead and trim this up so we can get the cover on it. And this is the perfect length. I can comment later about what length this cord is. But let's get this all trimmed up and ready to go here. I use my razor knife and I cut a little notch in here so the wires can go through when I put it up here. So we're going to do that now. Let's see here. There we go. I can feel the air moving. Wow, that's really nice. Okay, there it is from the inside closed. And I just had that plugged in still. That's fine. Looks good. I said closed, Poptop closed. The vent itself isn't closed. Now it's closed. So we are going to go up top and finish up there. All right, so I put a little lap sealant on each one of the screws here. Now I'm going to go take the vent cover and put on, and we'll do the same thing with those screws. I went ahead and cleaned off the excess butyl that squeezed out and put lap sealant around that. So now we can put this on this rain guard. It says if your roof slopes down, to put that vent opening where it slopes. So I'm actually going to point it kind of this direction because it slopes down into the front. So let's take that off. So it's just going to go just like that. Turn it some like this. Alright, and now we put these screws in and seal each one of these screws. And then I'll do lap sealant around this one as well. And on each one of the screws. And then we are done. Alright, we're done. The ladder's up. I have the fan on right now. So for those of you wondering why I put a fan up here, a couple reasons. When the pop top's up, you can open up the windows and pull some air through around the pop top. But also, I don't have a max fan back here anymore because I put in an air conditioning unit. So that's the reason for doing this, and I actually really like it. I'll probably change this to make it all black. I might just wrap it in black electrical tape so it's not such an eyesore. But that's why I did that. That and that other fan was really cheap. Or vent was really cheap. And it was just a matter of time before it broke. So if you have any questions, let me know.